Hey everyone, welcome to Dapper Vista DIY and more. Today I'm getting ready to whip up a batch of my whipped body butter, and I decided to go live doing that so that people can see what I'm doing. Uh-oh. Oh, it's gonna have me sideways. That sucks. All right, let's go back to this way. Okay, so I feel like the lighting is pretty bad on this, and don't know why. There we go. That's a little better. All right, so yeah, here are our ingredients that we're working with. We've got shea butter, coconut oil, olive oil, castor oil, and jojoba oil. In addition to that, whatever kind of essential oils that you like. I like to do a blend of lavender, eucalyptus, and lemongrass. So I've kind of been working on my own sort of combination. And the reason I'm not really giving the amounts here is not that it's proprietary, but I'm actually making a huge batch. So I think it'll be about 20 ounces. And then I break that up into like 8-ounce or 4-ounce jars. So what's very helpful to have is if you have a double boiler to melt all these together. If you have a kitchen scale, so you can get the weight of everything. And coffee. Coffee helps as well. So for those of us who are joining, we are going to make some whipped body butter. And again, we've got our ingredients listed right here. So hopefully this will keep us in body butter for a while. We are getting to the point where, I mean, I am really like kind of scraping the jar to get some body butter. So I buy in bulk. I've got this huge thing of shea butter, a huge thing of coconut oil, and just kind of as big as I can find in the other ones. We've got olive oil, castor oil, jojoba oil. So let's try to pull you guys in closer so you can see. There. That's probably as good as we're going to get. So what I'm doing is, according to my little recipe here, I'm going to add 11 ounces of shea butter. Now, it's important to get the raw shea butter. I don't know if there's any difference in camps between whether, you know, the ivory versus the one that's kind of more yellow. I always get the ivory one. That's just sort of my personal. Very, very slippery. But the cool thing about it is when you're making this, I mean, your hands are just super duper soft. Let me get my spoon while I'm running my mouth. But yeah, your hands are just really super duper soft. And let's put in there. So I'm going to do 11 ounces of this. Again, it's going to make a total of 20 ounces. And I've got a bunch of jars that I'm going to fill up, 8-ounce jars. So once you kind of get in the habit of this has weaned us off of like Vaseline. We were Vaseline queens in this house. And so I just didn't like kind of coating my skin in petroleum to protect it. I wanted to do something that would make it feel soft, but also make it healthier, right? And so, what I like about making your own product as well is you can add different types of things to it. You can add, like for example, if you add neem oil is really good as a all natural kind of repellent for bugs and things like that. So sometimes, like when it's in the season where we're now, you know, spring and all of that, I might add a little neem oil to it. Not a lot because that stuff is not a pleasant scent, and and it doesn't take a lot with neem oil if you were to add it, but you can always cover it up or mask it with your essential oils. So far, we've got just about 4 ounces of shea butter in here because I'm running my mouth, but I assume that's what makes it interesting to watch. So once I get everything in here in its proper amounts, so like I said, I'm going to do about 11 ounces of the shea butter. The shea butter is definitely the main ingredient. So it's probably about twice as much shea butter than the second main ingredient, the coconut oil that I use. So it'll be 10 or 11 ounces, give or take, of shea butter, and then it'll be like 5 ounces of the coconut oil. This stuff. This is probably the longest part of the process, getting this shea butter out of here. It's difficult to describe its texture. It's something that, so it's pretty firm and solid, but it's also very kind of pliable and soft. So it immediately reacts to the warmth of your skin and it melts. But we are going to help that melting process along because we are going to melt it on the stove. Never, never, never put this directly on the stove. You need to use a double boiler method. So if you don't have a double boiler, which is this pot right here that, oh, I don't want to mess up my measurements, that has a narrow bottom that actually fits into another pot. So in the bottom pot, you'll have water like this, which I fill up about halfway. And then this pot actually fits into it. So it gives it a more gradual, gentle heating. Other things that you might heat in a double boiler method is like if you're doing chocolate, anything that would kind of easily sort of scorch if you put it in direct heat. So you don't want direct heat. I hope everyone is sheltering in and being safe and social distancing if you happen to kind of go out. I've been kind of disappointed with what's going on with folks here in Arkansas and in my city not doing so well. I'm, if you didn't know, originally from Chicago. We moved down here about 2 years ago. And I know Chicago's really kind of going through it. So we are at 10.6 ounces. And I'm going to stop right there. No need to nickel and dime the 4 ounces. And then I'm going to add 5 ounces of coconut oil. Little coffee break here. This stuff is just really kind of cool. It's a lot easier. It scoops like melted ice cream. So if I'm adding 5 ounces, this is going to go to 15. Ooh, that added us to 13. That's 14. Oh my God, I'm doing like perfect. If I could do another perfect little 1 ouncer. 14.9. All right. Well, since I was about 0.4 ounces short of the shea butter, I'll take it. I'll take the 0.1 ounce short there. I will say this, with regard to measuring, it's really good the first few times that you're doing this because you want to be able to find some sort of baseline for the product, how you like it. So you want to be able to customize it. So it's really great to know what your measurements are, what's working for you, what you feel you might need more or less of, which is why I note it down. And so I've got these measurements here. I've got little notes on here that at first I did try a 1-to-1 shea butter and coconut oil ratio. And I just felt that it wasn't kind of whipping up right. So next I do like 2 ounces of olive oil. And I just go ahead and use a spoon for that. So that's 14.9. We should go up to 16.9. We're at 15.4, 15.7. We've got actually quite a bit. We can add 16.3, 16.5, 16.7 again. So that's close enough. Close enough. And the jojoba, I do 1 ounce of this. There, that's about it. And I do 1 ounce of castor oil. All of these things have their own individual properties that are really good for health, for healthy skin. I actually have some vitamin E that I could add, but I'm gonna leave that be. So with all of that stuff out the way, I add my essential oils last. So after these have melted down. So now I'm just gonna go and put this over on the stove. Yes, yeah, you can still see me way over here. In the double boiler, turn that on low. And basically we're going to just kind of wait till that melts. It takes about, just turn it around so I can chit chat. So it probably takes about 10 minutes for that stuff to melt down. This is also, I mean, it's really good, all these ingredients for your hair and stuff like that. So if anyone has any questions out there, if anyone's watching, I've been doing this probably about since, I don't know, kind of like the latter end of last year. And like I said, it's really kind of weaned us off of our Vaseline addiction. So yeah, I'm trying to figure out, I'm pointing on this thing, trying to figure out how I can see if anyone's in here with me. If you are, you can just wave and say, hey. So actually, here's what I do. I mean, no need to sit here together watching paint dry. I will end this live and then come back when it's melted. So we'll be back.